Hey everyone, welcome back here to my channel. I'm Nisse Pedersen and we are playing Planet Zoo. Today we're gonna make a moose habitat. And that moose we really have to talk about, because what is a moose? And is this a moose? If I go into Zoopedia here in Planet Zoo, it is listed as the Alces Alces in Latin. And to be honest, the Alces Alces is not a moose. The Alces Alces is the Eurasian elk, or elk, as we say here in Denmark. A few years ago, studies showed that actually the North American moose actually have 2 more chromosomes than the Eurasian elk, which definitely proved that it's not the same animal. They are definitely in the family, but it's really not the same animal if they don't have even the same number of chromosomes. Later on, it's been proven also that the Asian moose also have 70 chromosomes as the North American, but not the same as the Eurasian. So just to clarify, in Latin, the Eurasian elk is Alces Alces Alces. The North American moose is the Alces Alces americana. And I'm sorry if I don't pronounce the Latin the right way. And they also mention the Alaskan moose, which is the Alces Alces gigas. And we're gonna talk on about that a bit later. All of my info today comes from the Animal Diversity website, and it's of course linked below. And I will say it's one of the most detailed readings I have done in my Planet Zoo research yet. And it was a tough read, especially because I'm not English speaking. Naturally, I am Danish. I speak Danish normally. And to add to that, I have dyslexia, I think it's pronounced. So the reading thing is not always that easy to me, and today especially it was hard, but it was so worth it because I learned a lot. And we're gonna come to some points where to be honest, I recognized a few ex-boyfriends in some of these informations. So please join me on this journey. I hope you are sitting down and comfortably. Maybe it's now you just pause the video, find a snack, and maybe something nice to drink. My drink of the day is cola. What is yours? Please tell me in the comments below. But let's get started. The moose, as here, I want to talk about it as the moose, as they call it in Zoopedia. So we're gonna mix the moose and the Eurasian elk and it all together. And I will specify if I talk of a specific subspecies of moose or elk. But overall, I'm talking about the moose as the whole thing. I will really try to clarify as much as I can, but as you all already can see, that the Planet Zoo is not really sure itself which one it talks about. So we're gonna try to get through this, but yeah. The moose is living in Scandinavia. I will clarify that's not Denmark. I talk a lot about on my channel about which animals belong in the Danish nature, and the moose doesn't, but it does belong in a lot of the other Scandinavian countries. So that's why it says Scandinavia. Poland, Southern Czech Republic, Siberia, meaning Russia, Ukraine, Northern Kazakhstan, Northern China, Northern Mongolia, Alaska, Canada, Utah, Colorado, and everything in between. this moose have just spread its wings. I don't know if they used to reproduce a lot more than they do now, or maybe they're just tough to kill, but there's a lot of them out there. Basically, there's 4 things that decides where they choose to live. They don't like to live places where there's more than 70 centimeters of snow. And just to clarify, 70 centimeters, it's kind of a dinner table height. And that's both because they need things to eat, and they are not made for digging through the snow, but also the fact that they have these long legs, but they only have a certain length. Then they won't live places that's more than 27 degrees for longer periods, and that's mainly because they are unable to sweat. Yeah, fun fact about the moose, they are unable to sweat, so therefore they don't want to be places where they can overheat. Reason number 3 to picking a place to stay, they like to be places with a body of water. That would be ponds, lakes, rivers, swamps, anywhere with water. I think it should be fresh water, but I'm not sure. Both because they like to swim, but they also need something to drink. And of course also because around these places of water there will most of the time be more to eat. Which brings us to our 4th and last point, they need enough to eat. Because these giant animals need a lot to eat, especially the males. Since they are up to 40% bigger than the females. 40%, which is a lot since the females are real big. And the biggest moose out there is called in Latin Alces Alces gigas. Yes, Alces Alces gigas. And it's the Alaska moose. And it can be up to 771 kilos. That's kind of the size of a cow, a big cow, that is. But the thing is, on a cow, a lot of the weight is all of its muscles, and their legs are also extremely thick, where the moose have these thin legs, and then just this massive high body, which clearly shows that they are large animals. Beside the weight difference, it's still really easy to recognize the males from the females, because they have the largest antlers. Sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Of any sorry, they have the largest antlers of any mammal in the world. They can be up to 35 kilos, the antlers alone, which is easy to find out because once a year they actually throw away their antlers, and you can just go out in the forest and find them. And the biggest one ever found was 248 millimeters wide. That's more than 2 meters wide. 2 meters, just to give you something to think about. Yeah, I just checked. 2 meters would be the height of a door frame, and that would be how wide this antlers was. Of course, the bigger the animal, the bigger the antlers. So the bigger mooses have bigger antlers. The fur can vary from a dark black, gray, or brown, and the hair can actually, which shocked me, because especially when we look in Planet Zoo, it doesn't seem that furry, but their hairs can be, their hair can have a length depending on the climate. Their hair can have a length from 15 to 25 centimeters, and every single hair strain is hollow, which makes the fur extremely isolating, so it keeps all of the heat in and all of the cold out. And again, 15 to 25 centimeter would be a starter plate to a dinner plate. Yeah, and I know I needed to find something everyone could kind of agree on the size of. And now we sorry. And now we come to the fun part. Males' attractiveness. They have mainly two ways where they can alert females of their presence, and yeah, I kind of feel like this is a lot of males every time I go out, which I don't like to do anymore, of the same reason. So they either can, so they will vocalize, which means they will just yell. Just yell, hello, I'm here, I'm free, come along. And the other way would be to mark their scent on trees, which basically is rubbing themselves against anything they can find and spray it with their perfume. Yeah, it's kind of would be like that. I don't know if I'm the only one who makes that connection, but yeah, that's how my brain works. And to make it even funnier, then the moose actually don't agree on how to do this mating thing, because the mooses who live in the tundra biome, which would be the Alaska moose, again the Alces Alces gigas, they form these harems, which I kind of feel is what they do in which is kind of what they do in Planet Zoo. Form this harem of one male and 3 females, and they live together and nice, and that's great. But I kind of would prefer that, because it seems like the male then stick around. The other one, which is the mooses living in the taiga and the temperate biome, they find a female, stay with her until she's ready to go. Then he mates with her, and then he go out to find another. Yeah, that's it. He had this really short period of year to find as many females as possible to mate with. They only mate for 2 months, that would be September and October. And if the female, since he's gone after the mating, and if she's not pregnant yet, then she will be in heat again in 3 weeks. So there will probably come another guy along and do the same. But this thing about he's kind of joining her territory, just moves in, stay around, mate with her, and then out to find the next one. Yeah, sorry guys. I don't hate men. I just feel like I can recognize some of this stuff. Yeah, but they mate in September and October, and the female is then pregnant for around, and get this, 231 days. Which would be roughly around the same as cows, as far as I remember. But here comes the difference. The moose calf is on average born at 16.2 kilos. And I don't know if this comparison helped, but when I worked at a dairy farm here in Denmark, we have red Danish milk cows, and the calves of them, again the females of these cows could be 400 to 600 kilos, which would be kind of the same as a male moose. but they gave birth to calf around 30 to 50 kilos. So the milk cow's calves is 2 till 3 times bigger than the moose calf is, even though they're roughly pregnant around the same time and roughly weigh the same. The adults anyway. Before the calf is born, the mother finds some place isolated where she can go around with the calf undisturbed for some time. And when it's 1 year old, she says bye-bye. And the calf is going to go out and try to do life on its own. So when the mother leaves its calf, there's still a year before it's at the sexual maturity, but it's not even at 2 years old. It's still not grown to full size yet. That doesn't happen before they are 4 to 5 years old, and that's also where their antlers would be a size where the males actually would have a chance to knock another male on its butt. And enough about the moose itself, but it actually really affects humans a lot. Even though I think most of us thinks of the moose as this animal that just lives these beautiful forests, sometimes in mountains, and with these beautiful pictures of them somehow. But they really also have a really financial effect on the country where they are. Again, countries have different laws on this, so I won't go into specific who gets the money, if it's the farmer or who does. But there are a lot of money in this because there's a lot of meat on a moose. And I even know some hunters here from Denmark that would once a year go up in Sweden to try shoot a moose, only to get the antlers, which is stupid because if you wait a few months, it leaves it in the forest. So I don't understand it, but it is a big industry, both in Canada, North America, Europe, probably also in Asia. And then it also brings a lot of tourists to the area, which makes sense because we have this beautiful picture of the animal, and I would love to see one someday. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I really like to see one because it's kind of the king of the vegan forest. I don't know how to say it. It's not a lion, but it's for a deer. It is really magnificent. And then another way to earn some money on the moose is by having domesticated mooses or elk. I can probably say here, for as far as this text put it, it's only in Sweden and Russia that they actually have domesticated mooses or elk milk farms. So if you get to Sweden or Russia, you can probably, I don't think anyone wants to visit Russia right now, but then you can probably buy some moose milk. I have never tasted it, I never heard of it before, but I would like to taste it if I got the chance. But that's kind of the good side of the moose. Now we go to the bad side. And in Sweden, on average, there are 4,500 vehicle collision with elk every single year. And it's not only in Sweden, it's just the Sweden I chose to focus on here. And both in those collisions and in people in the forest just getting really unlucky, there are 10 to 15 human fatalities every single year because of the moose, which we can't forget, and it is a dangerous animal. But again, it's do we kill every single dangerous animals out there? We can't. We just have to be aware that it's dangerous and not put ourselves in too dangerous situations. Always, if you see a moose in the wild, don't approach it. You can take a picture, you can admire it from afar, but don't get too close, because it can kill you if it feels threatened, and especially a mama with its baby, you wouldn't have a chance. And just to end this section on a little more positive note, still the negative, but better than this, they also have a negative agricultural and forest effect, because they eat a lot and they don't know the difference between what's yours and what's mine, and they can both kill the crops or the trees or the plants, but they can also ruin the earth that the plants grow on, and they can also kill a lot of machinery if they feel threatened in any way. So yeah, happy note here. I think that was enough info for today. But if you find this as fascinating as I do, you can read a lot more on this website, and it is linked below. As you can see today, I used quite a lot of time down here in the underwater viewing area. And it's kind of because I want to give it this illusion that it was built for kind of maybe another animal that used it more, but then we moved the other animal to give it a bigger water area. For instance, the pygmy hippo, there would be too much land area here and too little water, so we moved them to give them a better place to live. And then we got the moose in instead. Maybe it could of course also be another animal, but kind of this history of this is a reused habitat. And the underwater viewing area wouldn't be used as much with the elk, because people just wouldn't. It's not an animal you think about, oh, I need to see this swim, like you would do with the others or the penguins or something like that. It was important to me that it fits in with the theme from the restaurant, especially because you will, if you don't know the restaurant is there, you will first see it if you come from this side through this build. So I just really wanted it to be a part of it all. And I think these wooden themes built fit real wonderful with the elk. If I think of an elk, I think in these beautiful parts of Sweden, which is our closest neighbor to the north. And these wooden cottages people lives in the forest, in a forest or something like that. So for me, it actually was kind of the only choice with the moose to use wooden themes built. Of course, again, in the underwater viewing area, it would be older because it was from another animal, and therefore in a completely different design. I also added a lot of details down there to make sure you could see it was old. But we actually don't have that much time left. Again, there was a lot of info today, but I just thought, while I read it, there was just so much that I feel like it would be weird to leave out. So basically everything that's left now is just to enjoy the cinematic, and I will be back in a minute or two. So please enjoy, and I hope you like it. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. You'll know the drill by now. Like, subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you know the next time I upload a video. I really hope to see you again, either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye guys!